Okay, we have a caller, so we're going to take it. It's Kel. Are you ready?
Yeah. Kelly from Lino Lakes.
All right, Kelly, fire away.
Hi, how are you guys?
Doing great. How are you?
Good, and great show. I've been looking forward to this since I saw Jack's tweet on Facebook about this. And Pat, I just let me say, first of all, I'm a delegate to the State Central Committee. I was at that convention. It was a great convention, and I congratulated you after your victory. And then I've been watching this controversy, if you want to call that, brew. I'm for Racino. Let me tell you, first of all, I had a discussion with our chairman when he was calling me in his bid for re-election, and I asked him about the letter that he sent out to the legislators at the beginning of the session, stating, our principles are cut spending, don't raise taxes, and don't support expansion of gambling. And I specifically asked him about that, out of curiosity, why he would point out that one point in a letter to the legislators. And what he told me was, well, that's part of the party platform, and I'm just reminding the legislators that, you would be going against the platform if you supported that. And I just kind of thought it was odd. And I kind of told him, well, I didn't think it was the right place to do that. I personally am for Racino, limited expansion of gambling that might benefit the state in terms of against the compact with the Native American tribes. Not once in this conversation did he tell me he was on the board of Citizens Against Gambling Expansion, CAGE. So I talked to him after the convention, and I said, that would have been a really nice piece of information to have before, rather than reading it in the Star Tribune 3 days before the convention. Now, granted, I think that piece in the Star Tribune was a hit piece on him, and, but to have that one point come out, I thought was disingenuous, and I told him, that's the least of it. So that being put aside, I'm wondering, Pat, and I have another question after this, too. I'm wondering, Pat, if you maybe expected this type of controversy to come up after you took the job with Racino?
No, not at all.
Okay. And
I was pretty floored.
Okay. And so then, how, and I heard you, I've been hearing you talk about this. I think you're doing a great job. I'm also for, we've got to shorten this platform up. I think there is a majority of Republicans that would support a Racino type of thing. I think Senator Fishbach's bill is overreaching, and I think really not a lot of people are in favor of that. But at the two sites, Running Aces in Columbus, which I live kind of by, and I know friends that work up there. It's brought jobs to an area that really needed jobs, and I'm for, at Canterbury too. But let me ask you this. This is what I had heard from our chairman, Tony Sutton, was that if this, as part of this bill, the state would provide the funds for purchasing the slot machines. Can you tell me, is that true? And what type of specifics can you give me about what the state's involvement is in infrastructure for a Racino type of action?
Sure, I can, because that issue has come up, actually. Some of the legislators have had those questions. The issue in the bill, the states or the state lottery would, I think, lease the slot machines, and that was done at their request. So let me point that out. The cost of the machines is minor compared to the cost of building the facilities at Running Aces in Canterbury, which they have to build the facilities, themselves probably. But the lottery wanted it done that way, and if you look at it, the way it's done all across the nation, it's done by the regulatory agency. So they actually own the machines, which they usually lease, and they own them and they regulate them and they run them, and that's at the request of the state. So that is not at the request. We would be, happy to own them ourselves, but that's not the way that the state wants it, and that's not the way it's done typically across the nation. There is no, concern on the part of the state that they're going to be stuck with these or something like that, because they're usually leased and you can have a letter of credit if needed and that sort of thing. But that's a very small part of the overall cost of any sort of construction or anything. At the Canterbury, I think they it's going to cost about $40 million to build the building and the infrastructure
Wow.
to to have this. And so the cost of these little machines is minor compared to that.
Okay, that answers a lot, because I'm hearing that coming up a lot. And can you tell me, I don't know if you know this or not, the rumor is out there, and maybe you can help clear it up. And if you don't have the information, don't try, because I don't want to have you get in trouble or anything like that. But the rumor out there is that the Cage group, Citizens Against Gambling Expansion, is largely supported with tribal money.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's true.
Where can we look that up to get that concrete information?
Well, Cage is they're a C4, I believe, and so it's not public. Their tax records aren't public.
Okay.
And so they're not all of that secret who donates there, but the
and that's why it's a rumor that's going around.
well, I think the question is, an organization gets an incredible amount of money. I mean, it's
Who's got a bunch of money
now the Indians
and who has an
the
interest
Indian
in not
tribes have
expanding
admitted
gambling?
that they have the Micah guy, who's the head of the Indian, has admitted that they fund Cage. So,
Okay.
but no one has seen any tax returns. It's impossible to do that.
And let me just close by saying this, because it's not all sweetness and love here. I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed, as I am with Chairman Sutton was not, disclosing that he was on the board of Cage. I'm a little disappointed this is coming up as another controversy of the Republicans that we have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe you when you say you didn't expect this to be such a big issue.
No, not at all.
At the same time, I think there are a majority of Republicans behind you on this, or behind the Racino action, and not the large outstate in every bar type of gambling expansion. But I'm wondering, would you do it differently now?
Well, people have asked me that, and I had no idea that this would be controversial, and I don't think it would have, except for Michael Broadcorp's calling for my head, and the day after I filed my paperwork. So,
Will you resign?
no, I will not resign as committee woman, and I'm not getting that either. I'm getting the opposite. So, but I never wanted, anything that I did to bring any controversy to the Republican Party. I mean, I'm here to help, as I have for 20 years, to help the Republican Party, to support the Republican Party. If you would ask me if I knew that this would have happened this way, then I probably would never have done it, just because I don't want to hurt the party. On the other hand, I never dreamt that this would happen, and it never should have. The attacks were wrong that occurred, and that's what's created this controversy.
All right. Thanks for the call, Kelly.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.